Hello, everyone. This is Laura, and welcome back to Become a Fluent English Speaker. Today, I want to talk about something that happens within seconds, sometimes even before a person says very much. It's called a first impression. Have you ever met someone and immediately thought, I like this person? Maybe they smiled. Maybe they spoke confidently. Maybe they seemed friendly. You didn't know them yet, but somehow your brain had already formed an opinion. I experienced this a few months ago. I was attending a small event and I arrived a little early. There weren't many people in the room. I sat down and started looking at my phone. A few minutes later, a man walked in. He looked around the room, smiled at several people, and said hello. Then he came over and introduced himself. His name was Adam. He spoke calmly. He listened carefully, and when I was talking, he didn't look at his phone. He looked at me. It was a small thing, but I immediately thought, Adam seems like a very respectful person. We talked for about 10 minutes. Then the event started. Later that evening, I met another person. He was also friendly. He was also intelligent. But something felt different. He kept interrupting people. He looked around while they were speaking. He checked his phone several times. Nobody had done anything seriously wrong, but I noticed myself forming a different impression. Later, I started thinking about both people. I barely knew either of them. So why did I already have an opinion? The answer is that our brains are constantly trying to understand the people around us. When we meet someone new, we quickly notice things like facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, and the way they respond to us. Our brain uses these signals to create an initial impression, and that impression can influence how we interpret everything that happens next. If we think someone is friendly, we may interpret their behavior positively. If we think someone is rude, we may notice things that confirm our opinion. This is one reason first impressions can be powerful. But there's a problem. First impressions aren't always accurate. Someone may look serious because they're tired. Someone may speak quietly because they're nervous. Someone may avoid eye contact because they're uncomfortable speaking English. Someone may make a mistake during a conversation because they're having a difficult day. If we judge them too quickly, we may misunderstand them. This is especially important when you're learning English. Imagine you meet a fluent English speaker. You want to have a conversation. You feel nervous. You make several grammar mistakes. You speak slowly. You forget a few words. You might think, they probably think my English is terrible. But that's only your interpretation. The other person may simply think you're learning. They may even respect you for trying. This is why you shouldn't let one imperfect conversation define your confidence. One conversation is only one moment. It's not your entire ability. There's another interesting lesson here. First impressions don't only affect how other people see us, they also affect how we see ourselves. If you have a conversation in English and it goes badly, you might start thinking, I'm not good at speaking English. Then the next time you meet someone, you become even more nervous. You speak less. You make more mistakes. Then you think your original belief was correct. It's a cycle, but you can break that cycle. Instead of thinking, I'm bad at speaking English, try saying, that conversation was difficult, but I'm improving. That's a much more useful way to think. You're separating one experience from your identity. You aren't saying, I'm a terrible speaker. You're saying, that moment was difficult. There's a big difference. So how can you make a good first impression? You don't need to use complicated English. You don't need impressive vocabulary. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. Start with simple things. Smile. Make eye contact when appropriate. Listen carefully. Ask questions. Don't interrupt. And most importantly, show genuine interest in the other person. You can use simple English expressions such as, nice to meet you. How do you know everyone here? What do you do? That's interesting. Tell me more about it. These simple sentences can create a comfortable conversation. And here's something important. A good conversation isn't about trying to impress someone. It's about making the other person feel comfortable talking to you. When people feel listened to, they usually remember the interaction positively. So, next time you meet someone new, don't focus too much on yourself. Don't think, am I speaking perfectly? Do I sound intelligent? Am I making mistakes? Instead, think, can I make this person feel comfortable? That small change can make you less nervous. It can also make your English conversation much more natural. Before we finish today's podcast, let's learn some useful English vocabulary. Impression means an opinion or feeling you have about someone or something. Initial means happening at the beginning. Interpret means to understand the meaning of something. Confident means feeling sure about your abilities. Nervous means worried or uncomfortable about something. Interrupt means to stop someone while they are speaking. Genuine means real, sincere, and honest. Identity means the way you understand who you are. Now here's today's challenge. The next time you meet someone new, don't worry about making yourself look impressive. Focus on listening. Ask one genuine question. Smile, and give the person your full attention. If you're practicing English, try using this simple sentence. Nice to meet you. Tell me something about yourself. Then listen carefully to the answer. You may discover that a good conversation becomes much easier when you're more interested in the other person than in your own mistakes. Before you leave, answer today's question in the comments. What makes you remember someone after meeting them for the first time? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's English listening podcast, subscribe to become a fluent English speaker for more short stories, psychology, vocabulary, and practical English. This is Laura, and remember, you don't need perfect English to make a good impression. You need genuine interest, good listening, and the courage to speak. Keep listening, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next podcast.